Alright, so yeah, pardon that abrupt cut off from the last one. We're gonna get down to some more business though. It ain't over. It ain't over. So now, I left off. Now I want to backtrack a little bit, deal with a few more things. Now, this is very interesting here. Funny how all this is coming together. You know, even got the musical aspect to it. Hit you niggas with the put a little hip hop into it. Rock and roll. You know what I'm saying? Pop. Get your boy Mike in there, king of pop. Even the goddamn little Katy Perry was in there. Look, fireworks. Which is y'all didn't go watch that video. I want to show you something. In that video, if I'm mistaken, it's a scene in there where somebody open up their jacket and fireworks shoot out their chest. Which is some excellent shit. Cause it goes back to what I was telling y'all about this right here. When all that light subsides and go this way, and all the light go this way, and then all these start going up and illuminating into different colors as they go up, like fireworks. And that last video, when I said the red, white, and blue, it's all coinciding. I was saying that's where the 4th of July thing come from. But actually, that's where the red, white, and blue. You got the red crown of the red and white crown of Kemet, and then you got the blue skies. And you got your 50 stars. Your 50 stars is the 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5, or you know the 1, 2, 3, 4 plus the middle one 5. Each one of these having 7, 7, 7, 7, which would be 7, 8, 7, 8, 7, 8, 7, 8, plus the one in the center 9. The number of birth of being born or whatever. Yeah. But I brought that up just to kind of blend in a little bit of the last series, the music series that I was doing before this, because I was on a mission with that. But then when the 4th of July weekend hit, nigga went to the Twilight Zone for real, and I was driven by the spirits to swap out and come over here and start doing this, breaking down the whole how this was the grand man, or the man with the tilt of the axis and all that. To go back to it and go a little bit deep into that part right there. Show y'all a 1, 2, 3 home base. But go back over something real quick. Which I already touched on, but I'll touch on it again before we get into the thick of things. Read this real quick. As the leg of Newt, it is the leg of a cow, which may be seen in the drawing from the zodiac of Dendera, in which the milk cow and leg are blended together in one figure. This supporting power of the pole was represented by King Hop, Lord of the Heavenly Host, in an annual ceremony of the support of the Siamese, during which the Lord of the Heavenly Host, as the power of the pole, stood on 1 foot for 3 hours. 1 foot, or 1 foot 3, or you go 1, 2. This the main 3 right here. This the 3. See, when they tell you about now, first form I brought the King Hop. This is where the hip hop thing, because this is what, see, everything is everything. Hip hop, and I'm bringing it to you as the Lord of Hosts. You did everything remember when I was telling you about Bobby Hemming was saying they had that white powder that made things float when you put things under it, or you see or whatever. And he was saying that that was a reference to or a hint to how the pyramids was built. You got the white powder creating the backbone right here, and then you had light coming up here floating up. And then most definitely it's gonna have this would be where the Great Pyramids would be, the Sphinx and the Great Spirit. Another thing about the Sphinx and the pyramids, people say that the Sphinx is older than the pyramid because the Sphinx has they say Kemet don't get, or Egypt doesn't get no rain like it used to, where it used to flood. And they say that the Sphinx has a the Sphinx has water damage or erosion marks at the bottom of it, showing that it dates back to when Kemet used to flood. And they say that the pyramids don't have that. Well, the reason why the pyramids don't have it is because at first the pyramids were covered in limestone. It was covered in limestone, white limestone, which so the white limestone is an ode or a memorial in regards to the moon, which was once sitting on top of the earth and was blew off as the earth was blew off the top of the sun. And that was done by Shu, the god of breath. And remember I was telling y'all about the sitting in the eye of the Father and all that. Well, I just so happened to sit down early a few minutes ago and flip through the book and bumped into it. But it was talking about Shu sitting in the eye of the Father. Now, which is supposed to validate what you may look at as a theory, but I'm telling you from a knowing perspective. So you have the white limestone pyramid right here, or the three white limestone pyramids, and with the light in between them. The light symbolizes the connectedness. So just like everything else, just like everything in the world in regards to every other thing, when they say the mind is all, the universe is mental. The light would represent the mind. All things are connected via the light, the inner part. So the things that the illusion of it all is the separateness. It's the separateness, the illusion of separation or whatever. Now everything exists on different levels, but still in all, everything is all still connected or whatever, you know. Even with white folks or whatever, they may not have souls, but they're here. Therefore, you can't necessarily they had a goddamn mission, just like you have a mission. So, but the thing is, y'all let them distract you from your mission with their shenanigans, like quote unquote higher ups of them or whatever. But all this shit is connected. They have light, they don't have the center light, though. They have the due to their lack of melanin, residual type of melanin they have, the little melanin that they have, they They just don't have the central sun or whatever. But all this shit is connected. Like, that's in the Kabbalion. Let me see something real quick. But anyway, so, and it's funny now because now that I started getting on this thing about the moon, all of a sudden, I'm starting to see a lot of propaganda, anti-moon propaganda. Oh, the moon is fake, and the moon is a hologram, and the moon is whoop-de-whoop-de-wham. Well, let me show y'all something. So yeah, the moon with that light, it's like the light is connecting it, even though it's blew off, it's still connected by the light, just like the light from the moon is a reflection of the light from the sun or whatever. Where was that at? Let's see if I can find it real quick. It was 395. No, that ain't it. But I'm gonna find it for y'all. Just wait a minute, because it was the part I wanted to deal with earlier. So yeah, now. Perfect. Just something else. I just bumped into something else I need to share with y'all too. Yeah. I thought I was gonna shave it on off in that last one, but we still got some. I still got to get to the water and the flood, not the little flood. I'm finna. I think I figured out why over these past 15, 20 years. Or I'll say since Katrina, I think I figured out why we was having so many hurricanes and shit. Cause I remember growing up, we didn't have hurricanes like that. It wasn't like now. Now every time hurricane season come around, everybody gets all scared and be wondering. And as soon as some shit get to kicking off in the Gulf or whatever, motherfuckers get paranoid and shit. And those do be the ancestors, cause the whirlwind. That's like your boy said, Marcus Garvey, I heard he was quoted as to say, "Look for me in the whirlwind." And just like Pac, lost in the whirlwind. 96 Bonnie and Clyde, me and my girlfriend. So he was saying things in regards to that as well. With the whirlwind thing, but which is true, but I think that now nature does what it does, so don't necessarily. I'm not gonna say that there'll never be another hurricane, but I think that the hurricane thing, Harvey was really like the. I think it was like one or two after that, but Harvey was really the one. Was a major one, because it was a lot of shit kicking off. So let me see. Okay, it was in the twos. But yeah, plus I'm gonna go take y'all back down into the bowels of the earth. Hell, welcome to that boy say. It ain't the terror either. Welcome to hell. Oh, that tale from the hood, man. Shout out to Peace be up on the name of my boy. What's his name? I think it's Terrence Witherspoon. So we finna get to the shit. Oh, we finna get to the shit. But yeah, it's beautiful shit, man. You know, I wouldn't even feel right if I learned all this shit and didn't share it amongst the good old folks of the U.S. or the universe. I ain't just where's this shit at, man? Okay, that can't be it. Let me stop doing this shit because I see that somewhere. But yeah. So where the fuck is this shit at? Come on, man. Let me see. Goddamn well. Alright. Let's see where I'm tripping at now. Okay, here we go. Now, give you some more scholarship on the moon. Page 245, Ancient Egypt, Light of the World. Let's get it. It also appears in the form, alright, the Isle of Truth is the name of the divine land across the water. Whosoever set foot on it is unable to tell a lie. A naive way of indicating its truth, compelling influence. So many words. Yeah, a naive way of indicating its truth, compelling influence. Surely this must be the Egyptian Mayat. Get back over here. This is Mayat. The balance. Right here. So even though it was tilted on its axis when the sun was coming down, this is still, it's tilted that way, but it's still straight. This is Mayat. Like I was telling y'all with the 7. When you're dealing with the 7, let me put this back up too. When you're dealing with the 7, when you're dealing with the 7, and you go into the whole thing about Jesus, they tell you that, and I might have said this, but I'll state it again. But it speaks about the 18 missing years of Jesus, because you got Jesus when he was 12, and then you had Jesus when the 30, and the 33 level of the vertebrae, 33 the 30 and the 3 years. Now alright. And I think I redid the video where I broke down the zodiac thing. I don't think I will. I think when I redid, I didn't go back to the zodiac. So now we got, this is with the mathematics of it all comes in at. So the 12 years of Jesus, or the Christ figure, represents the 12 zodiacs when all that light shot out to go on to create the carve out the 7 orbits and then turn it into the 12 zodiacs with 3 classes of stars and coming out of each angle of the circle, 3, 6, 9, 12. They go on to create the 12 zodiac. The stellar aspect of it. This is the light. When what they tell you when they was crucified Jesus, they say that they casted his light or rendered his light asunder. His light was his clothes, or it was represented as his clothes. Or sometimes when you with the Catholics, they speak about or they do the blood drinking drinking the grape juice and eating the cracker, saying that's the flesh and blood representing eating the dismembered body parts of Christ or whatever. That's all symbology. Now, when they say rendered the light ascender, remember I told you, you have to and the uwatchet, the hatchets, the light raising up and going shooting like this way one, shooting like this way two, and shooting like that way, and shooting like to the back. The 4 lights, the 4 blades, as it was spinning, it's spinning in a circle and it's tilting on its axis like a potter's wheel, and it's working with neath. Neath is the water rising up. The weaver, the needle, netter. Medu netter means one of the definitions of medu netter. Got the medu, me being the mother, do, two, the double mother, and the needle, the neater, the netter, the needle, which sits in the center, and the netter, the net. The web, the World Wide Web. See, the internet is some important shit. It's about what you do with it, though. That's kind of fucked up, I know, but you get the picture. Excuse me, doing the best I can. With the net, Peter Parker, 369 123 456 78 19 11 12. So that's the stellar. The light going. So when it's spinning and it's looking like the blades are cutting, these is retracting and leaving about little sparks behind, as if by the time all the light got to the outer circumference, it's been chopped up by the 4 knives cutting or going back and forth, leaving the little pieces behind or whatnot. So that's the 12 years when you're dealing with the circumference, the light in the circumference traveling backwards. When you're dealing with the 30 years of Christ, like I said, they tore his lot, or they ripped his clothes apart. That represents the breaking of the light. So this would be like his gown or his cape or whatever. And then when it went out to the circumference and left the little pieces behind, it's like it ripped the clothes apart or left little parts of the clothes that they tore and rented his lot or something. The parking lot, the audience, the football game in the middle, the end zones, or the end zones, or whatever. Really, boom and boom, but yeah. So the lunar is the water going up, which is another thing. The moon, like I seen some the other day, was like, oh, the moon is made of frozen water. That's why it has an influence over the waters of the earth and the emotions of people, because your emotions correspond, psychologically speaking, your emotions correspond to water or whatever. That's like one of the first breakthroughs I had when I was still in jail. I had told my homeboy, I said, man, I say the sun, I say your consciousness or your mind is the sun, and your emotions are the waters. When you focus on a particular emotion with intent, with intensity, you're focusing your sun on that particular emotion. So say for instance you sad, because you got tears of joy and you got tears of happiness or tears of sadness or whatever. So when you, whichever emotion you're dealing with, whether it be sadness or joy, when you're focusing on that emotion, you are shining your sun or your consciousness or your rays of light on that emotion. Just like when you shine your light, when the sun shines its light on the waters of the earth, it precipitates or causes the water to evaporate up into the air and create the clouds that we see in the sky. And then with enough intensity, it precipitates enough clouds to where that cloud cover starts to rain. Just like when you focus on your emotions with enough intensity, they raise up to your into your head or your consciousness or whatever. That's why you don't supposed to move off emotion, because when you move off emotion, you're moving in a state where you're moving in a cloudy state. So your sun or your consciousness or your better judgment is clouded. That's why you hear people say your reason is clouded. You deal with your emotions, you let them come up, but then you wait till you in the midst of the smoke, you figure out how to do the best way to go about acting on those emotions, and then you act after the emotions clear up. Then you go about your business. So, but just like those emotions raise up, just when the water from the earth raises up due to the precipitation of the sun and fall back down to the earth as rain, your emotions fall back down in the form of tears. And that's me right there. I didn't read that no book. I came to that conclusion based off of information that I got in the book. Like I said, because I was reading Anthony Broader's from the Broader File, and that's when I read about how he was speaking on how the moon was documented as in psych wards and insane asylums. The moon was documented as having an effect on emotional people. Different phases of the moon had different effects on people. That's why when it's a full moon, a lot of crazy shit be going out, because people's emotions are being swayed by the moon being in its full figure. So if you don't have no control over yourself, or you don't know how to control your emotions, you're more prone to be driven to act crazy or lunar. The moon, another name for the moon is lunar. You will go into a loony state because you don't know how to control your emotions and shit. You know what I'm saying? But that's one of the key things that led me to that little breakdown I just gave you. When I read that in the book, when it was saying how the moon was, the effect that the moon had on the emotions and connecting the moon to the water. So I was like, emotions, earth, motion. So yeah, that's the lunar. The surface of the moon would look like this, but it'd be dented in or whatever. Like I was saying, we see it through. It's an imaginary. It's an invisible. Remember I was telling you about the glass pillar that was left behind, representing the invisible ladder in the middle after all these went up. Well, when the moon blew off the top of the earth, it was an invisible electromagnetic force field over the top, like glasses. So when you see this moon, even though it looks like it's a totally flat surface, but actually it's a bowl. So when you see the full moon, you're looking at a bowl, but the electromagnetic force field of the earth makes it seem as if the indentation or the inside of the bowl is pulled out, giving it a flat appearance like it's but if you was to actually go to the moon, you would actually go straight to a full moon. You would actually go up into a bowl or an indentation. So that would be the lunar, the 7-14, 28 days of the moon cycle or whatnot. And then when the sun goes in and out of that moon on its travel through the center, it creates rain, snow, hailstorm, earthquake. That's why in the 120, the 5% teaches it says what causes rain, snow, hail, and earthquakes. The Son of Man playing with high explosives. Remember what I told you about the wick when all this went up? and all those center points fell all the way down until they filled it up to where the last center point, hair ani, fell right here, creating a wick coming out the center. That's the high explosives. The sun goes up. This is the when the water was right here. That created the frozen arc from this side to this side when the sun finally went up. But before it went up, it was causing the rain when everything met right here. So that would be your 40 days and 40 nights of rain. 7, 8, 9 plus the one hole. You gotta add, always add that one to it. This would be equivalent to the one because this outer circumference includes everything. So you have 7, 8, 9 plus the 9 as one group or one. That's where you get your 10 from. 7, 8, 9 plus the one whole. It's one group with 9 spaces. All together that's 10, 1 and a 0. But that's where you get your 40 days and 40 nights thing. And of course the sun comes with the solar. First when it shoots down here, then when it blows the earth off the top. That's called horizontal horizon. That's when it goes from riding through the center of the earth to riding over the horizons and falling over or going down, riding over the eastern horizon and going down over the western horizon. But let me get to the what I want to tell you about the moon. So it says the celestial bridge between the two is described in the voyage of Melduin as a bridge of crystal leading to a palace. That's to tell you about the bridge, the crystal bridge, the moon, or the center where all this goes up, but you got that invisible ladder still there, which would be social, psychologically speaking, would be your ladder up to the gods or the cosmos or the stars or the heavenly bodies or the star Sirius. You can't see it, but it's there. That's why it's represented by the crystal or the glass. So just like the electromagnetic force field. So now let me get to the moon thing. Under this travelers walk without ever getting wet. This in heaven is to go back to the Mac 10 son. Boy, say, fool, I'm a vet. You can bet that I can walk underwater and not get wet. See how all this shit ties in? Under this, the travelers walk without ever getting wet. This in heaven is the archway of the galaxy that was represented as the river overhead. It is related that when the voyagers came at last in the sight of land, it was a little island with a large palace on it. The little island. So around the place as a wall white all over without a stain or flaw, as if it had been carved out of unbroken rock or chalk, and it was so lofty that it seemed almost to reach the clouds. Let's talk about the moon, as well as the pyramid. A number of fine houses, all snowy white, were ranged round the inside, enclosing a level court in the middle on which all the houses open. This in the Egyptian is the city of White Wall of the celestial Memphis that was seen in the northern heaven at the summit of the mount. Though Cyrus, looking up to this, his journey's end, exclaims, "May Sekhet, the divine one, consort of Ptah, uplift me so that I may rise in heaven and issue my behest in Memphis, the city of the White Wall." So that's what they be talking about when they talking about the white wall around the white wall around the earth would be what was left behind after the moon bust off of the top of the earth, whatever. And that goes without telling you about the monkey. See where it said the monkey. The monkey lifting the bowl up, and then the Osiris raising up is when the earth raises up off of the sun. We're gonna get to it. Let me get over here real quick. But yeah. So where is it? I'll bring it back up in the next one. That shouldn't be too hard to find, but I don't want to waste too much time with it right now. So yeah, cause I want to get back to this underworld thing real quick, cause there's some things that got to be spoke on and that shit. So now, that's what they talk about though. So I'm saying, since all these people sitting here with anti-moon talk, goes to show that it's basically demonstrating that people are not reading. First and foremost, this science is everywhere in all different regions all over the world. But Egypt is, just like this book said, the ancient light of the world. You really want to know what's going on, you go to Kemet and you figure out, well, I'm helping you do it right now. But you figure out what the ancient Kamites was dealing with. That's why they were so advanced. That's why all their architecture be so aligned with the stars. And this is Orion's belt, the 3 pyramids lined up with Orion's belt and all that. As above, so below. As in heaven, so it shall it be on earth and all that. So when I hear people with this anti-moon talk, I'm like, that's how you know people are not reading. And that's why you have to be, like I said, you have to be like Anubis. You have to have a keen sense of judgment of who you're dealing with when you're dealing with this information. Even when you read all these books, when you get the books and shit, you have to come to a point where, because I can read a book and a nigga could be kicking some science in that bitch, and then I come to a part where I can be like, okay, he bullshitting right here. This is jive right here. And even not even just that, I can go and show you, I can even go forth and say, okay, well, he must be a part of some secret society where he can't say too, where he can't go too truthful with that part, because how he know all this shit but then don't know that part, and I know it. And you know, that's why I said about like these people talking all this fancy pants talk about, oh, the Anunnaki came and Enlil was coming and all this old jive talk. I was gonna say it's jive mythology, but these people are getting too sci-fi with it. You know what I'm saying? And oh, the reptilians and the draconians came with electric razor guns and all this old wild shit. But then you come to and then that same nigga come and tell you the moon is fake. And you be like, well, how the fuck you know all this other? How you drop the ball with something so basic and simple as far as the heavenly body? You don't even know. You're not even aware where the fuck you at. And I'm just really showing you how, putting the pieces together, showing you how all this shit functions. You know what I'm saying? But y'all be so quick to pick up your goddamn and follow niggas, pick up your bags and follow niggas, and niggas will have your ass in the middle of bumfuck. You be fucked up following some of these niggas thinking, and it's tricky because I be listening to something like, okay, yeah, he on some shit. Oh, he fucked up. Here he go with the bullshit. He come with the bullshit now. But so yeah, man. All this shit go together though, man. Just like when I was reading the other part, and I came to the part that's talking about the crooked one, the mountain, and then when I read that, the first thing that came to my mind was Trey verse on the Dog Father, Dog Days of Summer, Anubis, all the dog shit coming in. When he said I hit Jacks out 6-packs of the crooked one. That just came to my mind. First thing came to my mind when I seen the crooked one was that song, which is on Snoop's album, The Dog Father. Dog shit, the underworld, Anubis, X, DMX. It's all tying in. So let's get to this underworld thing, man. Now, remember what I told you, when the sun came down here and it's hit that, well, first when it threw the lightning bolt down, the lightning bolt traveled all the way through here, and now this becomes the vacuum. It pulls the sun down. Boom. So the sun sits right here, and now when it pulls the sun down, think about the Pangea. Remember when all the continents was connected. So what had to happen was when they struck the mountains down, or when the lightning struck the mountains down, and created little mountains all over the lands that's the fire and brimstone. Known to spit brimstone, fire and magnum, with magnums and multi-semis and multi-cities. Niggas ain't ready. That ain't me though. That's my nigga Ruff. My nigga corruption. But so when they pull the sun down, it's gonna pull all the land, the flatlands, the brimstone and shit, with the water, fire, and the snow and all that shit coming down. That's gonna become the bones of the earth or whatever. Then the land, it's gonna pull all the land mass together towards the center. Boom, with Egypt and the Great Pyramid sitting in the center, but it's gonna bring all the lands together with the mountains, with the mountains, the 7 mountains that were broke down, and now 7 mountains spread throughout all the 7 continents. And that would be your Pangea. So it'll pull all the continents to the center, and this will be all the water. Plus the continents or the land has water within them. That's where you get your marshlands and your you got your lakes and you got different types of water. You got the swampy waters where it's muddy and where the alligators should be. Then you have clear lakes, and you have rivers and bayous, and they be all different, some dirtier than others. That's the dirty mar. You got a deity in here called the dirty mar. Not dirty as in the, no, it's basically when it's saying dirt, it's referring to the melanin. Or the mud. Melanin and mud go hand in hand. The water, muddy waters. The oracle of tar water, harmonica, and the good tar. That's muddy waters. Lil Walter and Howlin' Wolf. Cadillac Music. That's a badass movie. You can learn some things from that shit. A lot of y'all niggas in this music industry, y'all are like your boy, and peace be up on his name. You know what I'm saying? Everybody transform and shit, but Muddy Waters, instead of having his business right, he let the goddamn white boy pay him off with gifts and shit or whatever. Like your boy Howlin' Wolf, that nigga was on some boss shit. Like, yeah, give me my own money, I go and take care of whatever I want to take. That's the shit he was on. But now, let me get to okay, let me go over here. Boop, these two. So now let me give you some more evidence to support my thesis in regards to what happened when the sun blew the earth off the top. Now this is where your Ku Klux Klan shit come from. Because when it's all said and done, when the like I said, when the sun hit right here, now you have Shu. You have different versions of Shu. You got the Ma Shu, which was when before everything started taking place, you had the dark waters on the top spinning, and before the light flooded at the top, it was the darkness, the mother, feminine energy, with Shu spinning around like a world, spinning the whirlwind sitting in the center. That's Shu. Ma Shu, Shuma, Moses, Mashu, Mushe. Now, Shu honor is when this right here is pulled up and the light starts to flood. The light cutting the light on, or flooding this with light, cutting the light on. Shu on her. Hurricane. Cain. The light is Abel. Cain, when they say Cain, Shu, Abel, Cain, it represents the light, or soot represents the negation or the diminishing of the light, leaving behind the sprinkles. Her is the Horus. The hurricane. So hurricane is Cain slaying Abel and leaving the Horus lights, or slaying the light as Horus, leaving the lights, the little lights behind. The hurricane. But shoot. So, and remember at first, it was the whirlwind at the top, pulled up the Anubis or the Slip, the Tayi, pulled that up here while it was spinning. Now that's Shu on. Shu and the lights are on, turning the lights on. And her, Shu on her, is Horus. Shu on her, or the means to irrigate or push out. If I say irrigation. So now the pyramid, I told you the pyramid, white limestone. Now getting good now. Then we go to show you how the pyramids were created. This the head, the crown chakra, the top. When that stem push up, this is round, right? When that stem push up, it's gonna push the center up and cause these to go flat at an angle, creating the pyramid effect. So he creates the pyramid, he builds the pyramid, the crown chakra. So that goes through there. So you will have this one going through, so it'll be like a jack in the box. So when it's going up through the pyramid, it's like a head with a cone or a hood on top of it, a white hood, This is why the Ku Klux Klan wear those white hoods. That's our shit. We originally, when you see them with the Ku Klux Klan shit on, that's originally our shit. Let me get closer. Now I was telling you about the reason why the pyramids didn't have the water ready, because they had the white limestone on it. They don't have the white limestone on it no more because the Arabs came over there. This time it was read, somebody did it, but from my information I read, they said the Arabs stripped the white limestone off and used it to build the city of Cairo, which all kind of ties it together because the Arabs with the Islam is Sufism or esoteric Islam, not that slave religion shit. But see, it's funny because Islam really has misogynistic overtones, but their symbolism is feminine. The moon, the Quran and the Old Testament, that's like lunar time or lunar science, moon science or whatever. That's why they shit is the moon and the crescent, the woman and the child, or the woman and the star, or whatever. When you deal with that, see, you better off dealing with the original Nation of Islam teaches. Quran has some shit too, but you have to know how to decipher the Quran. But the Nation of Islam, that's why you got the sun, you got the earth, you got the moon and the sun, but then you need the moon and the star. But you got the earth in the back, the sun in the background, the 8-pointed star or whatever. So each one of those, once that first one goes up, the tailbone or the top bone right here, the top of the spine gonna push up and push that melanin, because you got the sun in there, but it still has the melanin. When it comes through here, it's gonna be covered in that melanin or whatever. So it's gonna be sitting in the center. That's gonna push up and mold or push that melanin up to a point, and then causing the same thing that happened down here. Now the two on the side, I don't think they have they're imaginary, because each one of them has you got the ones point up, you got the ones point down. But I think that the ones pointing down on the sides, even though if you was to dig under the earth, you wouldn't see another pyramid actually going down, pointing down, and any of them really. But it's them not being there represents the hidden or the invisible pyramid point down or inside. So even if you was to go to the Great Pyramid and go up under it, it probably won't have this is what you call a kite of Osiris or whatever. So when it makes it's gonna be a pyramid pointing up and a pyramid pointing down. When this jacks up, when this right here travels up and falls into this slot and pushes the earth up, now the pyramid is right here. This part, all this right here, as far as the earth, surface of the earth is lifted up to right here. So now, but the sun is still in its original spot right here. So each one of these are going through, and it's like they putting the hood on. And everything that they consist of, they're the 7. So he starts it off and creates the blueprint or the first triangle or the first kite of Osiris, and then the 7 follow. And when they explode and shoot gas out and whatever they shoot out, they all add on to the building of, because the pyramid itself represents 7. A flat base, a square base, which is 4, 3 with a pyramid on each side or a triangle on each side, would give you the 12, the zodiac, and then the 3 and the 4. The triangle represents 3. The square that it's sitting on represents the 4. So that'd be a 7 on each side. 28. That's the moon, the white limestone. When it's all said and done and the earth finally blows off the top, this is going to be a white limestone. It's going to be white limestone. So when the sun comes down, this is sucking the sun down and pulling the landmass to the center. But when the sun hits right here and stops it, it causes a reverse. And now the shoe armor, because you got, like I said, you got the shoe, my shoe with the mother in the shoe. And then you have Shu who lifts up things on his shoulders. So now Shu pushing up or pushing, Shu is pushing all this up. So even though by the time this part right here gets to the center and everything else is sitting up here, the pyramid would be up here, but it's still, and remember you got the laser or the ethereal light shooting all throughout, each one shooting through the bottom of the pyramid and coming up. All that's adding on to the creation or helping with the building process of the pyramid. And now 53 minutes, 7 minutes. All right. Now Shu is pushing up. So each one of those go through the jack in the boxes or whatever. And then, like I said, you got this right here is gonna be sitting right there. The root chakra, the red, it's gonna be sitting right there on top of the sun right here. Now, Shu, you got 2 versions of Shu. You got the Shu I just showed you. Then you got the Shu when the sun is coming over the horizon, and Kemet is represented as Shu being lifted, or the sun being lifted on the shoulders of Shu, i.e. the breath or the air pushing the sun over the horizon while the earth is tilting towards it. But Shu, you got another Shu, which is the shade Shu. Now, when the earth blows off the top of the sun, Shu is pushing, because let me read this shit real quick. Let me go to the scholarship and then I'll come back, because I know I only got 5 minutes left, so I'm gonna read you the scholarship real quick. Where the fuck you at now? Don't start this shit. Okay, let me go here. Okay. 5 minutes. Alright, let me go. Honor. On her who manifests in two characters, Ma and Shu. And the address to the god, it said, "Thou blowest the divine barge off with a favorable wind in that name which is in thine of the goddess Ma." Thus Ma, the goddess of truth, law, and justice, is here identified with Shu in a feminine character. The feather of honor also reads both the trace character. The female character Mashu has also been assigned to Moses. There's a tradition reported, sweetest, that the Hebrew lawgiver and author of Jewish law that the Hebrew lawgiver and author of the Jewish laws was a Hebrew woman named Musu, which is equivalent to Mashu in Egyptian. Shu is the very personification of light and shade. The name reads both light and shade. The dual character of the god is to be read in the face of Moses, who wears the glory on his presence on it when it's in the presence of the Lord upon the mount, and who covers or shades his face when he turns to speak with the people in the valley. He likewise is the personification of light and shade. Moses under the veil is Shu in the shade. Yeah, this gonna get good. Moses wearing the glory of God upon his face is Shu, who sits in his father's eye, the eye of the sun. Shu Ari Hims Nefer, who keeps the residence radiant, which is the title of Shu at Philae. Okay. So the divine bars being blown off by Shu is the earth being blown off into the east of the sun. Now, Shu sitting in his father's eye. Remember, this is where everything jumped off at. So at first it was pulling up, but now it's sitting in the eye. After it blows off the earth from the top of the sun, that same Shu is pushing, now it's creating from the center the orbit that is going to orbit around Sirius, the star system Sirius. So the earth is blowing this way, and then you have the sun on this orbit pushing this way. Oh, let me get right here. This will be better. Come from that center. So the earth pushes that way, and Shu pushes it's now slowly pushing the sun, creating its orbit, the shade. When you read I'm gonna have to pull that out on the next video. When you're dealing with when you go read the Sirius mystery, it'll tell you about the orbits and how one of the things that Anubis represented is the orbit. It's an orbit. Sirius B orbits around. Now, what I'm starting to see is Sirius B is actually our orbit, the orbit that the sun is on. And they go to Himmelnord thing again too, the horns. You got the earth going this way, and then the sun will be pushed, is pushing, after the earth blows up the top, the sun is being pushed in the same direction, but it's going to curve. So it's like it's going in between the earth going to the east and Sirius in the west. And we'll pick back up off at this point on the next video. So y'all niggas hold your horses.